Hi, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel and podcast, Tell Me Something New. My name is Dr. Shelby, aka New Thought Doc, and I am here joined by my friend Kris, who I'm super excited to have with us on our podcast today. Before we get started and Kris tells us about her journey with karate and becoming a black belt, which is so amazing, I just wanted to let you all know how you can reach out to me if you're interested in being on the podcast. I think at times I have not made it very clear, so if anybody is interested in reaching out and being on the podcast, all you have to do is reach out to newthoughtexperimentowner@gmail.com, shoot me an email, and I would be happy to schedule you for the podcast and talk. So without further ado, Kris, I would love you to introduce yourself. How are you today?
I'm good. I am Kristi Schellhammer. I made the team for the ICO, and I am heading the plants. And I really appreciate you having me on your broadcast so I can tell you a little bit about another adventure besides karate that I had the opportunity to be able to do.
That is so awesome. I can't wait for you to tell us all about going to France. But let's go farther back a little bit and start with how we met each other and also what we share in common, which is that we were both homeschooled.
Yeah, definitely. And something else we share in common is we love Taibo.
Yes, we love Taibo. And for those of you who don't know what Taibo is an amazing mixture of movement, healthy movement, taekwondo, and boxing. Taibo, aka, and it was created by Billy Blanks. And I actually put my Taibo VHS tape here that I used to use as a child and work out. It's actually signed by Billy himself. And Kris and I met at one of his exercise certifications, and it was really, really cool. And I remember seeing you there and seeing your passion, and you were just full of light, full of energy, and just so stoked to be there. And I was like, I definitely have to have Kris come on my podcast. So I'm really glad that you're here and we have that in common. And unlike me, I never got into karate, but you took it really, really far, and you're a black belt now, and you go on tournaments internationally. So how about feel free to tell us, like, how did you get involved with karate? What has your journey been like? And share with whatever you really want to share, I
All
guess.
right. When I was 16, I saw Chuck Norris on the TV, and I always thought it'd be cool, especially his sidekick, his roundhouse. And my parents were like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, you can't do it unless you pay for it yourself." Well, I went out, I got a job, and I went through the whole ranking, white all the way to black. Took me 15 years, but with COVID now, and then with having a baby, the 15 years was well worth it to be able to get the black belt. But I also, like Shelby said, for my homeschool curriculum for gym class, I used to have to do Taibo. So I was introduced to martial arts at a young age, at the age of 4, but my parents couldn't afford to send me to do martial arts. So every year for my birthday, I would get a CD of Taibo. And that was my martial arts experience getting up to my black belt. But with hard dedication and with having so many surgeries also in between now, due to a car accident, I had my hand operated on, my shoulder, and my knee, and I had 15 other surgeries. So to be able to accomplish a black belt is everything to me. And that's what made me want to start doing competitions. That way I can show the world you can have a disability, but you can also follow your dreams.
Yes, absolutely, you can. And thank you so much for sharing that. You touched on so many important things. And number one, I just think it's so funny that we both grew up doing Taibo for our PE, because I also did Taibo for my physical education.
What was your
And
favorite
even,
kick?
what was that?
What's your favorite kick?
Front kick for sure. Yeah, I enjoy front kick. Yeah, I like going between front kick, back kick, but I definitely say front kick. um, and it's so funny that this is one of the VHSs that I used to use growing up, and I don't know how many times I've used it, but it's been a lot. um, but something you touched on, Kris, is that you had to overcome some really major setbacks. You mentioned, I know before, that you were involved in an accident which led you to have multiple surgeries, and you had to overcome that. And you also have talked to me previously about how your disability has impacted your journey with karate. And I'm just curious, what was the drive like? What was compelling you to continue on this path despite those setbacks?
The setback, basically, my father's a minister, and he always stored it in my head. You can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. And every time that I wanted to give up, my dad would say, "Hey, what's that Bible verse? There's nowhere in the Bible that says can't. There's always in the Bible that says can." And it's just with the drive between my dad and I, and also everyone always looking down on me. Like, a lot of people look down on me because, oh, well, she has a learning disability. Oh, she has this done and this done. Well, I wanted to show everybody that even though you have a disability, you can always push through, and you can do it if someone tells you you can't. So that's my drive, that if someone tells me I can't do it, I'm going to go do it. And then when they say, "Oh, wow, you did it," I'm going to go, "I told you I would." And that's just me. That's just how I am. Because if you tell me, like, prime example, for my black belt, my instructor told me, "I don't think you can do it." Well, since he told me I didn't think I could do it, I pushed through and I got my black belt. And that's exactly what's going to happen in France too. I'm going to do it because of him, and through him, anything's possible.
Absolutely. I completely 100% believe in you. You have so much drive, and you've already quote unquote made it. You earned your black belt. And I know it's not just about earning the black belt and getting the belt. It's so much more about the process and all of the discipline that it takes to achieve something of that status, which is really challenging. And I have no doubt that you're going to succeed, and I can't wait to hear about how France goes. And when you come back, we'll have to talk about the whole experience and what you learned there. But something you've told me before is you've mentioned a couple times a mustard seed. And can you tell us a little bit about your idea of the mustard seed?
All right. Growing up, I always said karate is like a mustard seed. You have to go to class, you have to get watered, you have to be fed, and you have to accept. And when you're a mustard seed, when you water it, it grows. And that's just like karate. Um, I have an opportunity. I don't know if you're ready for me to share it or not, but I have an opportunity to be able to do kids library kit. It's going to be at the Mannheim Library, probably next year after I get back. But it's going to be where I take younger kids and I bring them into the library. It's probably going to be like a $5 charge, or if they can't afford that, it would be completely free. But I want to bring the kids in. I want to show them self-defense. I want to teach them discipline. Like, if a kid does something out wrong, don't spank them. Give them 25 push-ups, 25 jumping jacks. Make them hold a weight above their head. Kids don't like that. And it's not fun to a kid. But, like, I want parents and people to be able to see that you can be disciplined and also get your belts through karate. And it doesn't cost a lot. Like, the regular place is like $130 to $200 or $60 even. And that's why I want to start a program called Library Kits. Yeah. Kristi's
So
Library Kits.
Kristi's library kicks, and I love that new idea, and I love how our conversation just sort of melded into it. You have been through having to navigate earning a black belt despite multiple setbacks, including not having all the resources that some of your other peers had, in terms of financial resources. And you've decided with what you've learned, you want to continue passing along that knowledge and helping people, because karate and everything that you've learned has clearly been so inspiring and important to you. And I'm just curious, when did it go from earning my black belt and on my karate journey to now I've achieved this, and now I really want to teach and learn and give it back? When do you remember that coming into your head, and when were you struck by that inspiration? Was it at a tournament? Was it with your child? Like, when did it happen and how?
That was about, I'd say, 3 years ago when I was at the WKC. There was this little girl named Addison. It's not her real name. I'm emphasizing so she doesn't have to know the name. But Addison went and she was doing karate and doing a sparring match. Poor kid, she put her whole heart and soul into it. But she got second place. And she started to cry. And she's like, oh, I can't. I'm not so good. And that's when I thought, you know what? I can be an instructor. I can go up and I can talk to her and tell her, hey, you showed up. Did anyone else from your class show up? Are you dedicated? You're the one who's out there being hit and sparred against and fighting. You see any other classmates? You're always a winner. Win or lose, you always can win. You don't have to feel bad. And at the time, that was in Detroit, and I just got done competing, and I only got the silver medal. So I walked up to her and I showed her my medal, and I'm like, look, I'm a black belt, and I only got a silver medal. It's not like I got a gold. We're even. And that's when he looked at me and goes, you should become a teacher. And that's the thought that I was like, okay, cool. You know what? That's a great idea. And that's what inspired me to want to give back.
I love that. I love that story. I have not heard that story from you yet, and it's such a human story. And I can tell you, Kris, that you showing that humility and that wisdom and showing that girl you are a winner even if you don't place first was so important for a young mind to learn. And I'm very, very excited. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so excited for you to continue to be able to do that work and teach so many people and youth, that lesson, that very, very important lesson.
But
And I'm really curious.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to add one more thing. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Add on.
I might have got my black belt, but a black belt is just a white belt learning how to do katas again. Because even though you might be a black belt, you're only as good as much as you learn from the master. No one can just put a belt around their waist and say, I'm a black belt. It takes years and years of dedication and hard work. So I'm sorry, Shelby. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's a completely okay, Kris. Tell us about those years of dedication and hard work. What was it like? And tell us about how it got you to where you are now. You're going to France soon to compete.
The hard work and dedication is what's doing. When you first go into this dojo, we usually have about a 15 to 20 minute warm up, which consists of push ups, squats, jumping jacks, practicing your kick, practicing your punches, and stretching. And then after that, they divide you up into your katas, your self defense, your sparring, and it just takes so much learning in less than an hour because the classes are usually only 1 hour of class. But it's like you have to absorb so much. And then after you've been there, like for a white belt starts out and they have to come through classes for 3 months. And then they can belt us. And in those 3 months, they need to be able to do 12 takedowns, 12 one-steps. They have to spar one other push-in for 2 minutes. They got to run through 3 different katas. And then they also have to demonstrate what it's like to be a white belt and break a board. And then it just goes up from there to there to there to there on the waist up. And it's just, there's a lot of dedication, a lot of hard, tears, sweat. I can't tell you how many times I sat on that mat after a belt test that I failed. I failed my high blue belt. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. And I failed my black belt the first time because my cardio wasn't up. I had to do 100 sit-ups, 100 burpees, 100 squats, 100 planks, and there was one other one, jumping jacks. I had to do all 100 of them, and I couldn't do it, and I cried because I didn't get my black belt. But there's something about it when you get the test and you finally make that dedication and you get that belt handed to you and wrapped around your waist. It's something that I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah.
Yeah. When you walked into your first karate lesson back when you were a teenager, did you ever think you'd be touring and going to tournaments in other countries?
No. I was the one that went there and was like, it's just a black belt. I really want my black belt. And then about 4 years ago, I went to my first tournament. It was a Southern and martial arts down in Wrightsville, Grandmaster Wheel, and I started competing. I got my first place. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. So then I went to the computer and I looked around and I found some tournaments out in Pittsburgh. Like big tournaments, not like the little ones around here with like the 400 people. But the tournaments out in Pittsburgh had like 1,000 to 2,000 people that would come. And I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm going out there to try to compete. I went out, I competed, and I got some championship wings.
Nice. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
When I was out there in Pittsburgh, Richard Powell came to me and said, hey, you're good. Why don't we take you to Detroit, Michigan, to nationals? I was like, oh, nationals, huh? Okay, that's kind of scary. And he's like, I don't worry about it. You just fight like you normally do. So we headed out to Detroit, Michigan, and we did some training out there, and I got a gold medal out there.
Amazing.
And then he's like, now it's time to go to Canada. Niagara Falls, New York/Canada. I'm like, what's up there? He goes, the World Championships. Got up there. It was amazing. We all walked in as a team. We were chanting, USA, USA. There was like, I think, 475 in our group of USA's team. And I didn't place that year, but I did get an awesome jersey out of it. But then,
Ow.
what?
I said, ow.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I thought you said you had a knee surgery. Did I mishear
No,
you?
no, 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 no. A gi.
Oh, a gi. Sorry. I heard surgery on my knee, but I misheard that. No, you got a cool gi, and you're wearing the gi. I love it. That's bad.
Yeah. And then we got back, and this year I went to the Battle of Champions and got my awesome belt. And
That
they
is awesome.
said, they looked at me and goes, hey, you know what? We want you on the ICO team. I'm like, what's the ICO team? They go, the International Combat Karate Team. So and I went to the training last week, which was brutal. But after that, I'm on the team and I'm heading to France to represent the US of A.
That is amazing. I am so, so excited for you. And I think it just is so showing like what following a passion and a creative outlet will do. Right now, I'm reading a really interesting book that's all about not letting fear get in the way of creativity. And it talks about how it's so important to just be willing to just do it, even if you don't have the most impressive skill, even if you don't know everything, even if you end up failing forward. And it doesn't matter if, I mean, it's wonderful when we get the gold medal, it's wonderful when we get the reward, but could it even be even more beautiful when we don't get the, black belt or the reward? Like it, can that still be beautiful? And that's what I've been learning about. And it sounds like your journey has been full of times where there has been times you've failed, but that doesn't detract from or make your accomplishment any worse. And in fact, in my opinion, it makes it even better because you've kept applying yourself consistently to get to that elite level where now you're able to, go to other countries and represent America, which is not something a lot of people can say.
One other thing that you want to add to that is you can be only as good as you make yourself. If you have a demeanor of, woe is me, I'm not able to do it, you're not going to go places. But if you tell yourself, hey, I can do this, I'm not afraid to step out of my comfort zone and do it, you'll be perfect. Because there's so many people that fall into that, oh, going out into a big award or a bigger tournament is scary. You're never going to be able to learn how to go and conquer it if you don't face your fear.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And you said there's so many people that have that fear and they don't go out and conquer it. Were you ever that person that had that fear? Was that ever you? And did that change, or do you feel like you maybe never had that fear? I'm curious which one it is, because regardless of whether you have the fear and you work through it, or maybe you don't have the fear from the beginning, people can still get to the place that they want to be. They still can get there.
Sometimes I think I still have that feel. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, I'm scared to death to go to France. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's because I don't know what to expect outside the country, or if it's I don't want to leave my sponsors and my family down. But when growing up, yeah, that was me. I was scared. Like, I didn't really want to step out and do it. But now since I got older and I have a kid, I sort of have no choice because my daughter looks up to me. And if I show that I'm skilled, that will make her scared of things. Mm-hmm. I hope that answers your question good.
Yeah. Yeah. Something you just said was so beautiful. You said, you have a daughter who looks up to you and you want to be a role model for her. What was it like, how did your understanding of being a black belt change as a mom? How does being a mom change how you think of your accomplishment in karate this far that you've come? Can you just talk a little bit about that? Because I'm sure it has something, it probably does either change how you view parenting or I don't know what have you, but can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Since I got my black belt, it's hard for me to exercise a lot more and do things like tournaments because in a way I feel like I did my dream and now it's time for my daughter to stand up and either do karate or gymnastics, do something that she loves. And something you guys can be praying about for me is this will probably be my last international tournament. I've been praying about it, and it's time for me to hang my black belt up on the shelf, and leave my daughter fly because I lived my dream. I did what I wanted. Now it's time for me to let go of my dreams and start having dreams for my daughter and seeing her succeed. So if she goes down the martial arts path, I'll join her. But if she goes into gymnastics, that's not me. But I just, I'm probably going to be giving it up. This year will be probably my last year because
Yeah.
my daughter's my everything. And I already talked to my husband, and my husband said that he'll support my decision either way. Just like
Yeah.
my whole immediate family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother-in-law, and the two nephews.
Well, you have so much support, and that is so incredible. And one thing I will say is that going back to what you were mentioning about fear and how you still have a little bit of fear, I think that it is important that we may act with fear, but not because of fear. It's important to be able to act with fear, but not because of fear. Can we let the fear come along for the ride, but not make the decisions? Can we let the fear sit with us at the table, but not vote? You know
Correct.
what I mean?
I
Right.
understand that.
It's a choice, it's a choice, and I think it's okay to have fear. Fear is fear is just another emotion that points us in a direction and helps us wake up and direct our attention with it somewhere. And I love that you chase your dreams and you said something very beautiful. You said, I lived my dreams. I have lived my dream. There's a lot of people who never do live their dreams. And there's a lot of people who really struggle with that. And part of this podcast is showing people out there what it looks like to meet with people and hear from people who are living their dreams and who are pursuing their interests and who are being creative. And that's what you've done. And so you very much inspire me. And I've
Yeah.
been really happy to hear from you. And I also think too, you've lived your dream. You've had this chapter of your life, touring, earning your black belt, competing. Perhaps you are coming to the end of the road of international touring, but you're also opening up this new chapter of Kristi's Library Kicks. And that in and of itself is a whole new creative chapter of your life. And you're going to be able to, teach children really important things and continue on everything that you've learned in such an impactful way. And I'm curious, if you were to say it's 5 years from now, what is one thing that you would hope Kristi's Library Kicks would have done for people?
Basically showing them that you can do anything you set your mind to,
Mm-hmm.
and you can never give up on your dreams, because there's so many students that will come in as a white belt, go up to like the yellow belt, and then they'll be like, oh, it's too hard. I don't want to do it no more. So I'm just hoping that one day, if this library kit, yeah, if these library kits actually gets off and running, I'm really hoping that I will be able to get a couple black belts signed off under my name, because that would be amazing.
That is amazing. And I don't have a doubt that you'll be able to do it because you've already done so much and you've come so far, and you have a lot of skills that will allow you to be a good teacher and to figure out what needs to happen to make your dream come true. And I'm curious, I know that you wanted to show us your kata, and I'm curious if you would want to do that.
Yeah, I'll show you my kata. Not a
Amazing.
problem. Let me take these off, because I can't do katas in headphones.
Yeah, they're going to fly off if you try. Take it off.
Can you guys see me okay? Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Not a problem. That was fun.
And for those people who don't know what a kata is, can you just briefly explain what a kata is and what they just saw?
Kata is where you are practicing self-defense, like someone's coming at you, and you can defend them without actually having somebody else come in and help you out. So, like down block, blocking somebody's leg, high block, you're blocking somebody coming at you, stuff like that. It's pretty
Nice.
awesome. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, drink water. That was a lot. Super athletic, super cool, super creative and artistic. Um, you're so full of so much energy, so much talent. You're a black belt. You're a mom. You're soon to be a teacher of the art that you have learned, which is incredible. And I continue to, look forward to seeing you do what you're doing and staying in touch. And I wanted to share my new thought, which
Yes,
is
please do.
So I like poetry, and sometimes new thoughts come to me in just little poetic moments. Sometimes they come to me in thoughts or in dreams. But I recently wrote a poem about living your dreams, and I think that is the theme of today, clearly. And my poem goes, "Live Your Dreams," which is the title. So here it goes. Tell me all about your dreams, the ones that will take you far. The dreams that turn your stomach up and softly mend your scars. The dreams that fill your head with the dancing vibrancies of life. The dreams that hold you in reverie while you transcend your points of strife. To have a dream is to dance the chance to break the mold you're in, but to live your dreams and follow through, by then, my friend, you win.
I like that. I really do. I love that. And I did post that on my Facebook wall.
Yes, you did post that, yes. And something about the end point, which I think I didn't realize until rereading it today. I said to have a dream is to dance the chance to break the mold you're in, but to live your dreams and follow through, by then, my friend, you win. And, there's a difference between having a dream and living a dream, but I also don't want to say that just if someone doesn't live their dream, that's somehow worse. Sometimes the dreams that we have never become action, but they become something else, or they change form over time. And I think it's beautiful when people are able to live their dreams and to actually follow through. And I think that's a win. But I think also having dreams is okay if they come and go, and sometimes a dream leaves us, and that's okay, and another one comes. So
Yeah.
creative inspiration doesn't always turn into action. And that is the beautiful thing about creativity and human creativity, is that it's an ongoing process, and it can strike at any moment, and it may or may not become. Mm-hmm. And I think it comes down to, can you focus on that creative moment that you have long enough to turn it into something if you're passionate enough about it? And I think for you, that's been your journey with karate, and for me, perhaps that's been, in one way or another, this podcast. So
That's all.
I've had such a great time today interviewing you, Kris, and I can't wait to hear how October goes when you go to France. And I just wanted to say thank you and give you a chance to give your shout out.
Cool. Yes, thank you so much, Shelby. I really appreciate being on the broadcast. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to give a couple shout outs real quick.
Yeah.
But, thank you to Country Meadows Restaurant in Town, Eliztown Heating, Cooling, Beacon Electronics. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of people. The community library, and all my friends and family who sponsored me so far. I truly appreciate it. The hotels is paid for. The airlines are paid for. The passports came. We have them. So now all we're doing is trying to raise a little bit more money for food, which is $110 a day. Airline, the plane tickets from Switzerland to France, the train. And then hubby and I, we also need the money for his spectator fees and for the tournament fees and another uniform. So I'm looking at needing about another $1,500, and then I'll be completely paid. Thank you, Shelby, for letting me give all these shout outs. And major shout out to my husband, Joshua, will always have my dad, my daughter Lucy, mom Melody, uh, Josh, no, mom, my dad Bill, my sister and Loans, and the boys. And also, thank you so much to all my senseis and all my teachers for helping me out. And I think that's good.
I adore you, Kris. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me and talking about your dream. And I just can't wait to see where this takes you. And we will have to definitely sit down and have another podcast in the future and talk about what you've learned. So, anyways, all this is Tell Me Something New. My name is Dr. Shelby, and aka New Thought Doc. You can find me on social media. And just again, if you're interested in coming and sharing your new idea, there's really no limitations to what you can share. It can be a poem, it can be an idea, it can be a project, it can be an insight, it can be a prayer. It really doesn't matter. I think what matters is that we share it together and that we learn together. And that's my goal for this podcast, and hoping us all learn together and see how we can be more creative, because it allows us to live our dreams and be inspired. So if you're interested, reach out to me at newthoughtexperimentowner@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to reach back out to you and chat. It's been lovely having you, Kris. Bye-bye.
Right.